I never believed in fate. Not until the day I moved into apartment 4B and met the man who would completely destroy my peaceful life. His name was Vincent Cross, and I hated him from the very first second. It was a Tuesday morning, early September, the kind of day where the heat still clings to your skin even though summer is supposed to be over. I was carrying the last box up 3 flights of stairs, sweating, exhausted, running on 2 hours of sleep and cheap coffee. That's when I heard it. Classical music. Loud. So loud the hallway walls were vibrating. I stood there, box in my arms, staring at the door across from mine. The music was coming from inside. It wasn't just music. It was opera. Dramatic. Intense. The kind that makes you feel like someone's about to die in an Italian tragedy. I knocked. Nothing. I knocked again. Harder. The music stopped. Silence. Then the door opened. And there he was. Tall. Maybe 6'2". Dark hair slicked back, still wet like he'd just stepped out of the shower. A white dress shirt, unbuttoned at the collar. Expensive watch. Cold eyes. The kind of eyes that look right through you like you're not even worth acknowledging. He didn't say hello. He just stared. "Hi," I said, forcing a smile. "I just moved in across the hall. I'm Claire. Claire Bennett." He looked at me, then at the box in my arms, then back at my face. "And," he said. That was it. Just one word. I blinked. "And, I was hoping maybe you could keep the music down. Just a little. I'm trying to unpack and—" "No." He started to close the door. I stepped forward. "Wait. Seriously? That's it? Just no." He paused. Looked at me again. This time with something that might have been annoyance. Or amusement. I couldn't tell. "I pay my rent," he said. "I don't break laws. What I do inside my apartment is none of your business." But it's the middle of the morning. Then by earplugs. The door closed. I stood there. Stunned. Who talks to people like that? Over the next 2 weeks, I learned the answer. Vincent Cross did. He wasn't just rude. He was a ghost. I'd see him maybe twice a week. Always leaving late at night. Always in a suit. Always alone. Never a smile. Never a greeting. If we passed in the hallway, he'd look straight ahead like I didn't exist. The music continued. Always classical. Always too loud. I complained to the landlord. "Vincent," Mr. Castellano said, laughing. "Good luck with that, sweetheart. That man owns half this building. You want him to turn down his music? You're gonna have to ask him yourself. He owns half the building." Mr. Castellano's smile faded a little. "Let's just say Vincent's not someone you want to make an enemy of. Be polite. Be respectful. And maybe invest in those earplugs." I left his office more confused than before. What kind of person owns half a building but lives in a regular apartment? What kind of person has that much power but keeps to himself? I started paying more attention. I noticed things. Small things at first. The way the other tenants looked at Vincent when he passed. Not with friendliness. With something else. Fear, maybe. Or respect born from fear. Mrs. Chun from 3B would practically flatten herself against the wall when he walked by. The college kids on the second floor would go silent when his footsteps echoed in the stairwell. Even Mr. Castellano, the landlord who acted tough with everyone else, spoke carefully around Vincent. Like he was choosing every word. One night, around 2 in the morning, I woke up to voices in the hallway. I pressed my ear against the door. "Told you I'd have it by Friday," a man's voice said. Shaky. Scared. Friday was 3 days ago. That was Vincent. His voice was calm. Quiet. But there was something underneath it. Something cold. I know. I just need a few more days. Please." Silence. Then Vincent spoke again. "You have until Sunday. Midnight. If I don't have what you owe me by then, we're going to have a very different conversation." "I understand. Do you?" "Yes. Yes, I swear." Footsteps. Then a door closing. I stepped back from my door. My heart was racing. "What you owe me?" What did that mean? The next morning, I saw Vincent in the hallway. He was leaving for work. Same suit. Same expressionless face. "Good morning," I said. He glanced at me. Didn't respond. Kept walking. "Hey," I called after him. He stopped. Turned around slowly. "What?" he said. I didn't know why I was doing this. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was stupidity. "Do you ever smile?" I asked. He stared at me for a long moment. "No," he said. "Why not?" "Because I have nothing to smile about." Then he walked away. I stood there in the empty hallway. and for some reason my chest hurt. That Friday night I made dinner. Nothing fancy. Just pasta. But I'd made too much. Way too much. I stared at the extra servings sitting on my counter. Then I looked at Vincent's door across the hall. This is stupid, I thought. But I did it anyway. I packed up a container of pasta. Walked across the hall. Knocked. The music was playing. Something slow this time. Melancholy. The door opened. Vincent stood there. No suit this time. Just a black t-shirt and dark jeans. His hair wasn't slicked back. It fell slightly over his forehead. He looked different. Younger almost. What? He said. I held up the container. I made too much dinner. Thought you might want some. He looked at the container. Then at me. Why? He asked. Because I made too much. That's not a reason. It's the only reason I have. He didn't take it. Didn't move. I don't need your charity, he said. It's not charity. It's pasta. Same thing. No, it's not. We stood there, staring at each other. Then something shifted in his expression. Just slightly, like a crack in a wall. He took the container. Thank you, he said quietly. Then he closed the door. I walked back to my apartment, and I smiled. 3 weeks after I moved in, everything changed. It was a Wednesday night. I was walking home from the grocery store. 2 bags in my hands. It was late, almost 10. The streetlights on my block had been out for days, and the city hadn't fixed them yet. The neighborhood wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. The kind of place where you kept your head down and walked fast after dark. I was halfway down the block when I heard footsteps behind me. I didn't think much of it at first. But then they got faster. I walked faster. So did they. My heart started pounding. I could see my building. Just 50 feet away. Hey, a voice called out. Male. Rough. Hold up. I didn't stop. I said hold up. A hand grabbed my shoulder. I spun around. Dropped one of the bags. Apples rolled across the sidewalk. It was a man. Maybe mid-30s. Unshaven. Smelled like cigarettes and something sour. His eyes were bloodshot. Desperate. Give me your purse, he said. I froze. Now, he said, stepping closer. My mouth opened, but no sound came out. He reached for my bag. And then I saw him. Vincent. He was standing at the entrance of our building. Watching. Perfectly still. His hands in his coat pockets. The man with the cigarette smell didn't notice him. I'm not going to ask again, the man said, reaching for my purse. Let her go. The voice was calm. Quiet. But it cut through the air like a blade. The man turned. Saw Vincent. Hesitated. This doesn't concern you, the man said. Vincent walked toward us. Slowly. No hurry. Like he had all the time in the world. Each step was deliberate. Controlled. He moved like a predator. I'm going to say this once, Vincent said. His voice was still calm. Still quiet. Let her go. Walk away. And I'll forget I saw you. The man laughed. But it sounded forced. Yeah. And what if I don't? Vincent stopped. 3 feet away. Then he smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. It was the kind of smile that makes your blood go cold. Then I'll make sure you never walk again. The words hung in the air. The man stared at him. For 5 long seconds. Then he let go of me. Took a step back. And walked away. Fast. I stood there. Shaking. My bag still on the ground. Vincent picked it up. Handed it to me. You should be more careful, he said. Then he walked into the building. I followed him inside. My hands were still trembling. Thank you, I said. He didn't respond. We walked up the stairs in silence. When we reached the 4th floor, he unlocked his door. Vincent, I said. He paused. Didn't turn around. Thank you, I said again. Really? He looked at me over his shoulder. Just for a second. Lock your door, he said. Then he went inside. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the moment in my head. The way Vincent moved. The way he spoke. The look in his eyes when he smiled at that man. It wasn't normal. It was something else. Something dangerous. But here's what I couldn't understand. If Vincent was dangerous, if he was someone to be afraid of, then why did I feel safer because of him? I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to the faint sound of classical music coming from across the hall. And I realized something. Vincent Cross wasn't just my rude neighbor anymore. He was something else. Something I didn't understand yet, but something I wanted to. The next morning, I saw him in the hallway. He was leaving for work. Same suit. Same cold expression. Good morning, I said. He glanced at me. Nodded once. then kept walking. But this time I noticed something. A thin scar along his jawline. Faded. Old. The kind you only see if you're really looking. There were others too. Small ones. On his knuckles. On the back of his hand. Scars that told stories. Stories I didn't know. Stories I was starting to want to hear. "Vincent," I called out. He stopped at the top of the stairs. Turned slightly. "Yeah. That man last night. Do you think he'll come back?" Vincent was quiet for a moment. "No," he said. "He won't." "How do you know?" "Because I know men like him. They're cowards. They only prey on people who can't fight back." "And you?" He looked at me. Really looked at me. "I'm not a coward," he said. Then he left. 2 days later, I found the envelope. It was slipped under my door. White. Unmarked. No name. No return address. I picked it up. Opened it. Inside was $500 in cash. And a note. "For your groceries. V." I stared at it. What the hell? I didn't need his money. I didn't ask for it. And I definitely didn't want to owe Vincent Cross anything. I spent the entire day thinking about it. By the time evening came, I'd made up my mind. I was giving it back. That evening I knocked on his door. He answered. Same look. Same energy. Like I was interrupting something important. I held up the envelope. "I don't need this," I said. He glanced at it. Then at me. "You dropped a bag. Things broke. I'm replacing them. I didn't ask you to. I didn't ask your opinion." I stepped closer. "Look. I appreciate what you did. But I don't need your charity." "It's not charity." "Then what is it?" He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Consideration." I blinked. "Consideration? You were in danger because of where you live. I live here too. That makes it my problem. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have to." He started to close the door again. I put my hand on it. "Why do you do that?" "Do what?" "Act like you don't care. About anything. About anyone." He looked at me. Really looked at me this time. And for just a second, I thought I saw something in his eyes. Something human. "Because I don't," he said. But his voice wasn't cold anymore. It was tired. "I don't believe you," I said. He smiled. Just slightly. Sadly. "You should." "Why?" "Because caring about people gets them killed." The words hit me like a punch. Before I could respond, he closed the door. I stood there in the hallway, holding $500 I didn't want, and thinking about a man I couldn't figure out. Over the next few days, things shifted. He still played his music, but it wasn't as loud. He still didn't talk to me. But when we passed in the hallway, he'd nod. Just slightly. Just enough to acknowledge I existed. I started paying more attention. I noticed the way he dressed. Always sharp. Always expensive. I noticed the way people looked at him when he walked past. Not with friendliness. With fear. Or respect. Or both. I noticed the visitors. Men in black cars. They'd pull up outside the building late at night. Vincent would go down. They'd talk for a few minutes. Then he'd come back up. Alone. Always alone. One night, I was coming home from work when I saw one of these meetings. I stayed back, hidden in the shadows across the street. Vincent was standing next to a black SUV, talking to a man in a dark suit. The man handed Vincent something. An envelope. Vincent opened it, looked inside, nodded. Then the man said something. Vincent's entire body went rigid. His hands clenched into fists. The man took a step back, hands raised, like he was apologizing. Vincent said something. Low. Sharp. The man got back in the SUV and drove away. Vincent stood there for a moment, staring at the envelope. Then he looked up, directly at me. Even though I was hidden in the shadows, even though I was across the street, he knew I was there. Our eyes met, and I felt my heart stop. He didn't move, didn't call out. He just looked at me. Then he turned and walked back into the building. I waited 5 minutes before following. When I got upstairs, Vincent's door was closed. But there was something on my doormat. A book. I picked it up. It was old. Worn. The cover was faded. The title was in Italian. I opened it. On the first page, in neat handwriting, was a note. If you're going to keep watching, you should understand what you're seeing. Read chapter 7. V. I went inside, sat on my couch, and opened the book to chapter 7. It was about Omerta. The code of silence. The unwritten law that governs the underworld. Never betray. Never speak. Never break the code. Because breaking it means death. I closed the book. And I understood. Vincent wasn't just warning me. He was protecting me by telling me to stay away. Would you walk away from someone who's clearly dangerous, or would curiosity pull you closer? Chapter 4, The Warning. 1 week later, I made a mistake. It was Friday night. I'd just gotten off a double shift at the hospital where I worked as a nurse. I was exhausted, drained. All I wanted was to go home, take a hot shower, and sleep for 12 hours. But I never made it home. I was walking from the bus stop. It was raining. Not hard. Just a steady drizzle that made everything slick and cold. I turned onto my street, and I saw them. 3 men, standing outside the entrance to my building, waiting. One of them was the man from before, the one who tried to rob me. My stomach dropped. I stopped walking. They saw me. The man smiled. "There she is," he said. I turned to run, but one of them was already behind me. "Not so fast," he said. They surrounded me, right there on the sidewalk, in the middle of the city, like it was normal. "You remember me?" the first man said. I didn't answer. "Your boyfriend embarrassed me," he said. "I don't like being embarrassed. He's not my boyfriend. Doesn't matter. You're gonna help me send him a message." My heart was pounding so loud I thought they could hear it. "Let me go," I said. He stepped closer. "Or what? Or I'll make you regret it." The voice came from behind them. Vincent. He was standing at the entrance, hands in his pockets. Same calm expression. But this time he wasn't alone. There were 2 men with him. Both tall. Both built like walls. Both wearing dark suits and expressions that said they'd done this before. The man who'd grabbed me before took a step back. "This isn't your business, Cross," he said. "You're on my street," Vincent said. "That makes it my business. We're just having a conversation." "No," Vincent said. "You're leaving." One of the other men spoke up. "We're not scared of you, Cross. You're not the only one with muscle." Vincent didn't respond. He just looked at him. And something in that look made the man go quiet. The tension in the air was suffocating. For a long moment, nobody moved. Then Vincent took 1 step forward. Just one. That was all it took. The 3 men left. Fast. Without another word. I stood there, shaking, soaked from the rain, confused. Vincent walked over to me. "Inside," he said. I followed him. Didn't argue. Didn't ask questions. We went up to the 4th floor. He unlocked his door. "Wait here," he said. He disappeared into his apartment. Came back with a towel and a dry sweater. "Dry off," he said. "Change into this." I took them. My hands were still shaking. He turned away to give me privacy. I peeled off my wet jacket, dried my face and arms, put on the sweater. It was huge on me, warm, smelled like him, like cologne and something else, something clean and expensive. "Okay," I said. He turned back around. For a moment, he just looked at me. Then he said, "Sit." I sat on his couch. He poured 2 glasses of whiskey, handed me one. "I don't usually drink," I said. "Tonight you do." I took a sip. It burned, but in a good way, in a way that made me feel less cold. Vincent sat across from me, elbows on his knees, looking at the floor. "Who were those men?" I asked. "Nobody." That's not an answer. He looked up. His jaw was tight. His eyes were hard. "It's the only answer you're getting." I leaned forward. "Vincent, what's going on? You need to be more careful." "I am being careful." "No, you're not." His voice was sharper now. "You walk home alone, late at night, through bad streets. You don't pay attention. You don't think about who's watching. I didn't ask for your protection. You don't have to ask." I stared at him. "Why do you care?" He was quiet. Then he said, "Because I know what happens to people who aren't protected." There was something in his voice. Something raw. Something painful. "Vincent, go home, Claire." "No." He looked at me, surprised. "No," he repeated. "No. I'm not leaving until you tell me what's really going on." "You don't want to know." "Yes, I do." He stood up, ran a hand through his hair, paced across the room. "Those men," he said finally. "They work for people I used to work for. People who don't like it when I interfere with their business." "And by interfering, you mean stopping them from robbing you, hurting you, worse." "Why would they care about that?" He turned to look at me. "Because in my world, showing mercy is weakness. Protecting someone who isn't family is seen as a liability. And liabilities get eliminated." My blood went cold. "So by saving me, you put yourself in danger." "Yes. And now they're coming after me to get to you." "Yes." I set down my glass. Stood up. Then I'll leave. What? I'll move. I'll find another apartment. Another neighborhood. I won't be your problem anymore. He crossed the room in 3 steps. Grabbed my arm. Not hard, but firm enough to stop me. No, he said. Why not? If I leave, they'll leave you alone. They won't. It's too late for that. Then what do I do? He looked at me, and for the first time, I saw fear in his eyes. Real fear. You stay close to me, he said quietly. You don't go anywhere alone. You don't talk to strangers. You don't trust anyone except me. For how long? Until I fix this. And how do you fix this? He let go of my arm. Step back. You don't want to know. I grabbed his hand. Held it tight. Vincent, please, tell me the truth. He looked down at our hands, then at my face, and I saw it. The moment he decided to stop lying. I'm going to kill them, he said simply. The world stopped. What? The men who came after you. The people who sent them. I'm going to kill them all. You can't. I can. And I will. That's murder. Yes. You'll go to prison. Only if I get caught. I pulled my hand away. Vincent, you can't do this. I already decided. Then undecide. It doesn't work like that. Why not? He looked at me, and his voice was softer now. Almost gentle. Because the second I stepped in that night, he said, the second I stopped those men, you became part of my world. Whether you want to be or not. And in my world, there are only 2 options. Protect what's yours. Or lose it. I'm not yours. He was quiet. Then he said, I know. But the way he said it, the way he looked at me, I knew he was lying. Is he protecting her, or has she become something more to him? I didn't go home that night. Vincent wouldn't let me. You're staying here, he said. On the couch. I'll take the bedroom. Door stays open. Vincent, I'm not arguing about this. And he wasn't. He gave me a blanket, a pillow, turned off most of the lights except for one lamp in the corner. Try to sleep, he said. Then he went into his bedroom. But he didn't close the door. I lay on the couch, staring at the ceiling, listening to him move around in the other room. I should have been scared. I should have been planning my escape. I should have been calling the police. But I wasn't. Because for the first time since moving to this city, I felt safe. And that terrified me more than anything else. The next morning, I woke up to the smell of coffee. Vincent was in the kitchen, fully dressed, making breakfast, eggs, toast, nothing fancy. But the normalcy of it was jarring after everything that happened. Morning, he said without turning around. Morning, I said sitting up. He poured 2 cups of coffee, brought one over to me. Thank you, I said. He nodded. We ate in silence. It wasn't uncomfortable. It was just quiet, like 2 people who didn't need words to understand each other. When we finished, I stood up. I should go, I said. Where? To my apartment. To shower. To change. I'll walk with you. Vincent, I'm going 20 feet across the hall. I don't care. He walked me to my door. Waited while I unlocked it. Checked inside before letting me enter. Lock it behind me, he said. I will. He started to leave. Vincent, I said. He turned. Thank you. For everything. He looked at me for a long moment. Then he said, don't thank me yet. And he left. That afternoon, everything changed again. I was leaving my apartment to grab lunch when I saw her. A woman, maybe mid-20s. Blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail. Expensive coat. Red eyes. She was standing outside Vincent's door. Knocking. Vincent, she called. Her voice was shaking. Please. I know you're in there. No answer. She knocked again. Harder. Vincent, please. I need to talk to you. It's about Marco. Still nothing. I should have kept walking. But I didn't. Are you okay? I asked. Tomorrow I face the consequences. Before I could ask what that meant, he turned and went into his apartment. And I was left standing alone in the hallway. The next day, everything fell apart. I woke up to pounding on my door. I checked the time. 6 a.m. I threw on a robe. Opened the door. It was Sophia. Her face was pale. Her eyes were wild. Is Vincent here? She asked. No. Why? They took him. My blood went cold. What? This morning. For men. They showed up at Marco's place. Took Vincent. Said he had to answer for what he did. Where did they take him? I don't know. Marco tried to stop them. They broke his arm. I felt dizzy. We have to call the police. No. Sophia grabbed my arm. The police can't help. If we involve them, Vincent's as good as dead. Then what do we do? She looked at me, and I saw fear in her eyes. Real fear. We pray, she said. We pray that Vincent is as smart as I think he is. Because if he's not, we're never going to see him again. I spent the entire day waiting. Sophia stayed with me. We didn't talk much. Just sat there, staring at the clock, hour after hour. No word. No call. Nothing. At 7 p.m. my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered it immediately. Hello. Silence. Then a voice. Deep. Unfamiliar. Is this Claire Bennett? Yes. Who is this? A friend of Vincent's. He asked me to call you. Is he okay? For now. What does that mean? It means he's alive. But that could change. My heart was pounding. What do you want? Vincent made a deal. A very expensive deal. He paid a debt that wasn't his to pay. Now he owes us. And we're going to collect. How much does he owe? The man laughed. It's not about money, Miss Bennett. It's about loyalty, trust, respect, things that can't be bought or sold. Then what do you want? We want Vincent to remember his place, to remember where his loyalties lie, and to make sure he never forgets again. You're going to hurt him. We're going to teach him a lesson. Please, if you care about him, Miss Bennett, you'll stay out of this. Because if we find out you're the reason he broke the rules, we'll teach you a lesson too. The line went dead. I dropped the phone. Sophia looked at me. What did they say? I couldn't speak. I just shook my head and started crying. Vincent came back at midnight. I heard the door to his apartment open. I ran out into the hallway. He was standing there. Barely. His face was bruised. His lip was split. There was blood on his shirt. He was limping. Vincent, I whispered. He looked up. Saw me. I'm fine, he said. But he wasn't fine. I could see it in the way he moved. The way he breathed. The way he couldn't quite stand up straight. Let me help you, I said. No. Vincent. I said no. But then his legs gave out. I caught him. Barely. He was heavy. Solid. I helped him into his apartment. Got him to the couch. I need to call an ambulance, I said. No hospitals. You might have broken ribs. I've had broken ribs before. I'm fine. Vincent. Claire. Please. Just stay with me. His voice was so quiet. So broken. I sat down next to him. Okay, I said. I'll stay. He leaned back against the couch. Closed his eyes. I'm sorry, he whispered. For what? For dragging you into this. You didn't drag me anywhere. I chose to be here. You shouldn't have. Maybe. But I did. He opened his eyes. Looked at me. Why? He asked. Why what? Why do you care? You barely know me. You should be running as far away from me as possible. I took his hand. Because I see you, I said. Not the monster everyone else sees. I see the man who saves people, who protects people, who sacrificed himself for a stranger because someone asked him to. Tears filled his eyes. You're wrong about me, Claire. No, I'm not. You are. I'm not a good person. I've done things. I don't care what you've done. I care about who you are right now. In this moment. With me. He looked at me for a long time. Then he said, I think I'm falling in love with you. The world stopped. What? I think I'm falling in love with you, he repeated. And that terrifies me. Because everyone I've ever loved has ended up dead. My chest tightened. I'm not going to die. You don't know that. Neither do you. Claire. I leaned forward. Pressed my forehead against his. I'm not afraid of you, I whispered. I'm not afraid of your world. I'm not afraid of what might happen. The only thing I'm afraid of is losing you. His hand came up. Cupped my face. You're going to break my heart, Claire Bennett, he whispered. Then let it break. As long as I'm the one holding the pieces. And then slowly, carefully, he kissed me. It wasn't desperate. It wasn't passionate. It was soft. Gentle. Like he was afraid I'd disappear if he held on too tight. When he pulled away, there were tears on his face. I don't know how to do this, he said. Neither do I. I'm going to fail you. Maybe. I'm going to hurt you. Probably. You should hate me. I smiled. Wiped the tears from his face. I should, I said. But I don't. He pulled me closer. And we sat there. In the darkness. Holding each other. Two broken people finding something whole. Is this love, or just two people finding comfort before the storm? The next 2 weeks were the strangest of my life. Vincent and I didn't talk about what happened. We didn't define what we were. We just existed. Together. He still went to work. Still had his meetings. Still lived in his world. But when he came home, he'd knock on my door. And we'd sit on my couch. Or his. And just talk. About everything. About nothing. He told me about his childhood. Growing up in Brooklyn. His father who disappeared when he was 8. His mother who worked 3 jobs to keep them fed. He told me about the first time he killed someone. He was 17. It was self-defense. But it changed him. Made him realize he was capable of things most people weren't. He told me about Angelo Lombardi. The man who found him when he was 18. Hungry. Desperate. Angelo gave him money. Protection. A family. But it came with a price. Loyalty. Absolute loyalty. I've been working for him for 15 years, Vincent said one night. Half my life. I've done things for him I can't take back. Do you regret it? I asked. He was quiet. I regret what it cost me, he said finally. My humanity. My soul. The ability to look at myself in the mirror without hating what I see. Then why don't you leave? Because men like me don't leave. We either die in the life, or the life kills us. That's not true. Yes, it is. No. I took his hand. You have a choice. You've always had a choice. Claire. I'm serious. You can walk away. Right now. Tonight. We can leave this city. Start over somewhere else. He smiled. But it was sad. You make it sound so simple. It is simple. No. It's not. Because if I walk away, Angelo will hunt me down. And he'll kill everyone I care about to punish me. Then we fight him. How? I don't know. But we figure it out together. He looked at me. You really believe that? Yes. Why? Because I believe in you. He pulled me close. Kissed the top of my head. You're going to get us both killed, he whispered. Or we're going to finally start living. But the calm didn't last. It never does. 3 weeks after Vincent paid Marco's debt, everything changed. It was a Saturday night. Vincent and I were watching a movie in his apartment. Some old black and white film he loved. I wasn't really paying attention. I was just happy to be close to him. Then his phone rang. He looked at the screen. His entire body went rigid. I have to take this, he said. He went into the bedroom. Closed the door. I heard his voice. Low. Tense. Then silence. When he came back out, his face was pale. What's wrong? I asked. I have to go. Where? I can't tell you. Vincent. Claire. Please. Don't ask questions. Just trust me. How long will you be gone? I don't know. Fear shot through me. Is this about Angelo? He didn't answer. Which was an answer in itself. Vincent. He crossed the room. Pulled me into his arms. Held me tight. I love you, he said. My heart stopped. It was the first time he'd said it sober. In daylight. Without blood or fear or adrenaline. He just said it. I love you too, I whispered. He kissed me. Deep. Desperate. Then he pulled away. If something happens to me, nothing's going to happen to you. If something happens, he continued, there's an envelope in the top drawer of my desk. It has everything you need. Money. Contacts. Instructions. Vincent, you're scaring me. Promise me you'll use it if you have to. I'm not promising anything because you're coming back. He looked at me, and I saw fear in his eyes. Real fear. Promise me, Claire. Fine. I promise. He kissed me one more time. Then he left. That was the last time I saw him free. 3 days passed. No word from Vincent. No texts. No calls. His apartment was dark. Empty. I knocked every few hours. No answer. On the 4th day, I couldn't take it anymore. I went to Mr. Castellano. Have you seen Vincent? I asked. The landlord's face went pale. You haven't heard? Heard what? He sighed. Looked around. Then pulled me into his office. Closed the door. Vincent was arrested, he said quietly. The world tilted. What? 2 days ago. The police raided his apartment. Took him away in handcuffs. Why? What did he do? Mr. Castellano looked at me, and I saw pity in his eyes. Murder, Claire. They're saying he killed someone. I couldn't breathe. That's not possible. I'm sorry. No. There's been a mistake. Vincent wouldn't. Claire. Mr. Castellano's voice was gentle. I know you care about him, but Vincent Cross is not who you think he is. I stepped back. You don't know anything about him. I know enough, and I know you should stay away, for your own safety. I turned and left. I went straight to the police station. Demanded to see him. They wouldn't let me. He's not allowed visitors, the officer at the desk said. I don't care. I need to see him. Ma'am. Please. A detective appeared. Mid-40s. Gray hair. Tired eyes. You're Claire Bennett, he said. It wasn't a question. Yes. Come with me. He led me to a small interrogation room. Sit, he said. I sat. He pulled out a folder. Opened it. Inside were photos. Crime scene photos. A man lying in an alley. Blood everywhere. I looked away. That's Marcus Delgado, the detective said. Low-level enforcer for the Lombardi crime family. Someone shot him execution style 3 nights ago. And you think Vincent did it? We know he did. We have a witness. Who? Someone who saw him pull the trigger. They're lying. The detective leaned forward. Miss Bennett, I understand you have feelings for Vincent Cross. But he's dangerous. He's a killer. And the sooner you accept that, the safer you'll be. I want to see him. That's not possible right now. When will it be possible? Maybe never. He's being held without bail. The trial starts in 6 weeks. 6 weeks. I stood up. I need to see him. Please. Just for 5 minutes. The detective looked at me for a long moment. Then he sighed. 1 visit. 5 minutes. That's all I can give you. Thank you. They took me to the county jail. I went through security, metal detectors, searches. Then they led me to the visitation room. Vincent was already there, on the other side of the glass, wearing an orange jumpsuit. He looked different, thinner, harder. There was a bruise on his cheek. His knuckles were split. But when he saw me, something in his expression cracked. I picked up the phone. He did the same. You shouldn't be here, he said. Yes, I should. Claire, did you do it? He was quiet. Did you kill that man? I asked again. He looked at me, and I saw the answer in his eyes before he even spoke. Yes. The word hit me like a punch. Why? Because he was going to kill someone I cared about. Who? He didn't answer, but I already knew. Marco, I whispered. Vincent nodded. After I paid his debt, Angelo sent Marcus to finish the job anyway. Marcus was going to kill Marco and Sophia. I couldn't let that happen. So you killed him instead. Yes. Tears filled my eyes. Vincent. I told you, he said quietly. I told you I'm not a good man. You saved their lives. By taking someone else's. To protect innocent people. That doesn't make it right. I pressed my hand against the glass. I don't care, I said. You should. But I don't. He closed his eyes. Took a shaky breath. Claire, you need to walk away. Now. Before this destroys you. I'm not walking away. Yes, you are. No. I'm not. You don't have a choice. Yes, I do. And I choose you. He opened his eyes. Looked at me. And there was so much pain in his gaze it hurt. You can't save me, he said. Maybe not. But I can stand by you. A guard tapped on the door. Time's up. Vincent stood. Don't come back, he said. I will. Claire. I will. Every day. Until they let you out. He looked at me one last time. I love you, he said. Then he hung up the phone. And walked away. I sat there. Staring at the empty chair. And I made a decision. I wasn't giving up on him. No matter what. Would you stand by someone everyone says is guilty? I hired a lawyer. His name was Richard Chin. He was expensive. The best criminal defense attorney in the city. I'll be honest with you, Miss Bennett, he said during our first meeting. This case is going to be difficult. The prosecution has a witness. They have forensic evidence placing Vincent at the scene. And Vincent has a history. But he was protecting people. That's not a legal defense for murder. Then what is? Self-defense. But we'd have to prove Vincent believed his own life was in immediate danger. What about protecting others? That's murkier. But we can try. How much is this going to cost? He named a number that made my stomach drop. I didn't have that kind of money. But I knew where to get it. That night, I went back to Vincent's apartment. I used the spare key he'd given me weeks ago. The place was exactly as he'd left it. Dark. Empty. His cologne still hung in the air. I went to his desk. Opened the top drawer. Inside was the envelope he'd mentioned. I opened it. There was cash. A lot of cash. More money than I'd ever seen in my life. There were also documents. Deeds to properties. Account numbers. Passwords. And a letter. I unfolded it. Claire, if you're reading this, I'm either dead or in prison. Either way, I'm sorry. I know I told you I'm not a good man. I know I told you to stay away, but you wouldn't listen. You never do. That's one of the things I love about you. The money in this envelope is yours. Take it. Use it. Get out of this city. Start over somewhere safe. Don't try to save me. I'm not worth saving. But you are. I love you. I've loved you from the moment you knocked on my door with that stupid container of pasta. I just didn't know it yet. Be safe, Claire. Be happy. And forget about me. V. I read the letter 3 times. Then I folded it carefully, put it back in the envelope, and took the money to Richard Chin. I want you to save him, I said. Whatever it takes. The trial started 6 weeks later. I went every single day. I sat in the back row, watched, listened. The prosecution painted Vincent as a monster, a cold-blooded killer, a man without remorse. They brought witnesses, people who'd seen him at crime scenes, people who'd worked for him, people who were scared of him. They showed photos of the victim, talked about his family, his children. They made Vincent look like the devil. Richard tried to fight back. He argued self-defense, protection of others, mitigating circumstances. But the jury wasn't buying it. I could see it in their faces. They'd already decided. Vincent was guilty. On the 5th day of the trial, Sophia testified. She sat on the stand, hands folded in her lap, eyes red from crying. The prosecutor approached her. Miss Russo, do you know the defendant? Yes. How do you know him? He worked for the same people my brother worked for. And on the night in question, where were you? At home with my brother. Did you see the defendant that night? Sophia hesitated. Miss Russo? Yes, she whispered. I saw him. And what was he doing? Tears streamed down her face. He was protecting us. The courtroom erupted. The judge banged his gavel. Order. The prosecutor stepped closer. Miss Russo, are you saying Vincent Cross killed Marcus Delgado? Yes. Why? Because Marcus was going to kill my brother. Vincent stopped him. By murdering him. By saving us. The prosecutor smiled. So you admit that Vincent Cross committed murder? Sophia looked at Vincent. Then at me. Yes, she said. But not because he's a killer. Because he's a protector. Because he's the kind of man who risks everything to save people he barely knows. Because he's better than any of us deserve. The prosecutor shook his head. That's a lovely story, Miss Russo. But murder is murder. No matter how you justify it. Then I hope God forgives him, Sophia said. Because I do. The jury deliberated for 3 days. 3 days of waiting. 3 days of hoping. 3 days of praying. On the 3rd day, they came back. I held my breath. Has the jury reached a verdict? The judge asked. We have, Your Honor. On the count of 2nd-degree murder, how do you find? The forewoman stood. We find the defendant guilty. The world stopped. Vincent didn't react. He just stood there, staring straight ahead. The judge spoke. Vincent Cross, you are hereby sentenced to 25 years in state prison, without the possibility of parole for the first 15 years. This court is adjourned. The gavel fell, and my heart shattered. They took him away immediately. I tried to get to him, tried to push through the crowd, but the guards blocked me. Vincent, I shouted. He turned, looked at me one last time, and mouthed 2 words. I'm sorry. Then he was gone. I don't remember leaving the courthouse. I don't remember driving home. All I remember is sitting on my couch, staring at the wall, numb. 25 years. He'd be in his 50s when he got out. I'd be in my 40s. Half a lifetime. Gone. I went to the rooftop. Our rooftop. The place where we'd spent so many nights. Talking. Holding hands. Planning a future that would never exist. I stood at the edge. Looked out over the city. And I cried. I cried until I had nothing left. Then I heard footsteps behind me. I turned. It was Detective Morgan, the one who'd questioned me at the station. Miss Bennett, he said. What do you want? To talk. I have nothing to say to you. I think you do. He walked over, stood beside me. I know you care about Vincent, he said. You don't know anything. I know what it's like to love someone who's done terrible things. I looked at him. My brother, he said quietly. He was a cop. Good man. Family man. But he made one bad choice. One mistake. And it cost him everything. Why are you telling me this? Because I see the same look in your eyes that I saw in my sister-in-law's. The look that says you're not sure if you should fight for him or let him go. Tears filled my eyes again. I don't know what to do, I whispered. Morgan pulled out a folder, handed it to me. "What's this?" I asked. "A second chance." I opened it. Inside were documents, photos, testimonies, evidence. Evidence that Vincent wasn't the only one involved in Marcus Delgado's death. Evidence that pointed to Angelo Lombardi, the man who'd given the kill order in the first place. "This wasn't presented at trial," Morgan said, "because we didn't have enough to make it stick. But if Vincent testifies against Angelo, we might be able to reduce his sentence. Maybe even get it overturned." Hope flickered in my chest. How much time would he serve? 5 years. Maybe less with good behavior. 5 years. Not 25. Not a lifetime. "What do you need from me?" I asked. "I need you to convince Vincent to testify. Because he won't listen to me. But he might listen to you." I looked at the folder. Then at Morgan. "Why are you helping me?" "Because Vincent Cross isn't the worst man I've ever seen. And I think he deserves a second chance." I closed the folder. "I'll do it," I said. Getting Vincent to agree to see me took 2 weeks. He refused the first 4 requests. But on the 5th, he finally said yes. The prison was 3 hours upstate. I drove through early morning fog, hands gripping the wheel so tight my fingers ached. When I arrived, they searched me, took my bag, led me through security. Then they brought me to the visitation room. Vincent was already there. He looked different. The bruise on his face was darker now, spreading. There was a cut above his eyebrow that hadn't been there before. Prison wasn't kind to him. But when he saw me, his eyes softened. I sat down, picked up the phone. He did the same. "You look tired," he said. "So do you." He almost smiled. "Almost. I told you not to come." I don't listen very well. I noticed. We sat in silence for a moment. Then I said, "I need you to do something for me." "What?" I pulled out the folder, held it up to the glass. "Detective Morgan came to see me. He has evidence. Evidence that could reduce your sentence. All you have to do is testify against Angelo." Vincent's expression went dark. "No. Vincent." I said no. "You didn't even let me finish." "I don't need to. I know what you're asking. And the answer is no." "Why?" "Because if I testify, I'm dead. You're dead. Everyone I care about is dead. Not if the police protect you." He laughed. But it was bitter. "The police can't protect me from what's coming, Claire. You don't understand how this works." "Then explain it to me." He leaned forward, voice low. "Angelo Lombardi has people everywhere. Inside the police. Inside the courts. Inside the prisons. If I testify against him, I won't last a week. So you're just going to give up. You're going to spend 25 years in here." "I'm being realistic." "You're being a coward." His eyes flashed. "Say that again." "You heard me. You're being a coward. You're choosing to rot in here instead of fighting. I'm choosing to keep you alive. I don't need you to keep me alive. I need you to keep yourself alive." "Claire." "No. Listen to me." I pressed my hand against the glass. "I love you. And I'm not going to watch you waste away in here for something you did to protect people. If you won't fight for yourself, then fight for me. Fight for us. Fight for the future we could have." He stared at me. "What future?" "There is no future for people like me." "There is if you take it. It's not that simple." "Yes, it is. You testify. Angelo goes to prison. You get out in 5 years. And we start over. And if I don't make it 5 years, then at least you tried. At least you didn't give up." He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "They'll kill you to get to me. Then protect me." "I can't protect you from prison." "Yes, you can. You've been protecting me since the day we met." His hand came up to the glass, matched mine. "I'm scared," he whispered. "Me too. What if I fail? Then we fail together." He closed his eyes. A single tear rolled down his cheek. "Okay," he said. My heart stopped. "Okay. I'll do it. I'll testify." Relief flooded through me. "Thank you," I whispered. He opened his eyes, looked at me. "I love you, Claire Bennett." "I love you too." We sat there, hands pressed against the glass. Two people separated by walls and laws and circumstances, but connected by something stronger, hope. Would you risk everything for 5 more years together? The deal was made. Vincent agreed to testify. In exchange, the district attorney would petition for a reduced sentence. 5 years instead of 25. He'd be transferred to a federal facility, given protection, placed in witness protection after his release if necessary. Everything was set. The hearing was scheduled for 2 weeks. But 1 week before Vincent was supposed to testify, everything fell apart. I got a call from Detective Morgan. "We have a problem," he said. My stomach dropped. "What kind of problem?" "Someone leaked the information. Angelo knows Vincent's testifying, and he's put a hit out. On Vincent. On Vincent. On Sophia. On Marco. And on you." I couldn't breathe. "What do we do?" "You need to go into protective custody. Tonight." "What about Vincent?" "He's being moved to a secure facility. Maximum security. Solitary confinement. He'll be safe." "Will I be able to see him?" Morgan hesitated. "Not until after he testifies." "I'm sorry. That's 2 weeks away." "I know. Detective. Miss Bennett, I understand this is hard. But if you want to stay alive, you need to trust me." I closed my eyes. "Okay," I said. "When do I leave?" "Pack a bag. I'll have agents at your door in an hour." He hung up. They came exactly 1 hour later. 2 federal agents. Both wearing dark suits. Both carrying guns. "Miss Bennett," one of them said. "Yes. We're here to take you to a safe location. Do you have your bag?" I held it up. "Let's go." They put me in an unmarked car. Drove for 2 hours. Took me to a safe house outside the city. It was a small apartment. Bare walls. Minimal furniture. One window facing a brick wall. "Stay inside," one of the agents said. "Don't open the door for anyone except us. We'll be outside." Then they left. And I was alone. 5 days passed. No news. No updates. Just silence. I called Detective Morgan every day. "Is Vincent okay?" "He's fine. Safe." "When can I see him?" "Soon." But soon never came. On the 6th day, there was a knock on the door. I looked through the peephole. It was Detective Morgan. I opened the door. "What's wrong?" I asked. His face was grim. "Vincent escaped." My heart stopped. "What?" "Last night, during the transfer to the federal facility. Someone ambushed the convoy. Killed 2 agents. Vincent's gone." "Is he alive?" "We don't know. There was blood at the scene. A lot of it, but no body." Panic flooded through me. "So he could be hurt. Or dead. Or he escaped." Morgan looked at me. "If he escaped on his own, that means he's running. And if he's running, we can't protect him." "Then find him." "We're trying." "Try harder." Morgan hesitated. "There's something else." "What?" "We think the escape was staged. The blood was planted. The scene was too clean." My blood went cold. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying Vincent might have orchestrated the whole thing." "Why would he do that?" Morgan didn't answer. But I already knew. "He's going after Angelo," I whispered. "If he is, he's walking into a death trap. Angelo's expecting him. He'll have men everywhere. Then I have to stop him. Miss Bennett. I have to find him before he gets himself killed." "You can't. You're in protective custody." "I don't care." I grabbed my coat. "If you leave, you're on your own," Morgan said. "Then I'm on my own." I walked out the door. I had one lead. Sophia. If Vincent was planning something, she'd know. I found her at a coffee shop in Queens. She was sitting alone, staring at her phone. When she saw me, her face went pale. "Claire," she said, "you shouldn't be here." "Neither should you." She looked around nervously. "If Angelo's men see us together." "I don't care. I need to know where Vincent is." "I don't know." "You're lying." "I'm not." I sat down across from her, leaned in close. "Sophia, Vincent escaped. Or he's planning something. Either way, he's going to get himself killed. If you know anything, you need to tell me." She bit her lip. Tears filled her eyes. "He came to see me," she whispered. "When?" 2 nights ago. After the escape." "What did he say?" "He said he was finishing it. That he was going to end this once and for all." My stomach dropped. "And what?" "Angelo. The Lombardis. All of it. He said he couldn't let you live in fear anymore. He said he'd rather die fighting than live in a cage." "Where is he now?" "I don't know. He wouldn't tell me. Said the less I knew, the safer I'd be." "Did he say anything else?" Sophia hesitated. Then she said, "He told me to give you a message." "What message?" She pulled out a folded piece of paper. Handed it to me. I opened it. "Claire, by the time you read this, it'll be over. I know I promised I'd testify. I know I promised I'd fight for us. But I can't let you spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder. I can't let you live in fear because of me. Angelo has to die. It's the only way. If I succeed, you'll be safe. If I don't, at least I died trying to protect you. I love you. I've always loved you. Don't come looking for me. V. I read the letter twice. Then I stood up. Claire, wait. But I was already gone. I knew where Vincent was going. There was only one place Angelo would be. The docks. The old shipping yard on the east side. The place where the Lombardis used to run operations before they went legitimate. Vincent had mentioned it once. Months ago. In passing. But I remembered. I drove there. Parked a block away. The yard was massive. Abandoned containers stacked like metal mountains. The smell of salt and rust thick in the air. I moved through the shadows. Staying low. Staying quiet. Then I heard voices. I crept closer. Hid behind a container. There were 3 men. All armed. Standing guard outside a building. Boss is inside, one of them said. With Cross. Yeah. Been in there for 20 minutes. Think Cross knows he's walking into a trap. Doesn't matter. He's not walking out. My blood ran cold. I had to get inside. I waited until the guards moved. Then I slipped past them. Through a side door. The building was dark. Cold. Smelled like oil and decay. I heard voices coming from deeper inside. I followed them. Down a hallway. Through another door. Into a large open room. And there he was. Vincent. He was standing in the center. Hands raised. Surrounded by 4 men with guns. And in front of him stood Angelo Lombardi. Tall. Gray hair. Expensive suit. Cold smile. You always were stubborn, Vincent, Angelo was saying. I admired that about you. But stubbornness without wisdom is just stupidity. I'm not here to talk, Vincent said. No. Angelo laughed. Then why are you here? To end this. End what? Our arrangement? Our friendship? Your life? All of it? Angelo's smile faded. You think you can kill me? Here? In my own building? Surrounded by my men? I think I can try. Then you're dumber than I thought. Angelo pulled out a gun. Pointed it at Vincent's head. You broke the rules, Vincent. You showed mercy when you should have shown strength. You put a woman before the family. And for that, you have to die. Then do it. Oh, I will. But first, I want you to watch her die. My heart stopped. Angelo turned. Looked directly at me. Come out, Miss Bennett. I know you're there. I stepped out of the shadows. Vincent's face went white. Claire, what are you doing here? Saving you. You need to leave. Now. I'm not leaving. Angelo laughed. How touching. Young love. So pure. So foolish. He walked toward me, gun still raised. Did Vincent ever tell you about the first man he killed for me? Angelo asked. I didn't answer. No. Let me enlighten you. He was 19. The man was a snitch. Someone who betrayed the family. I told Vincent to make it quick. Clean. But you know what he did instead? Angelo leaned in closer. He made it slow. Painful. He wanted the man to suffer. Because even then, Vincent understood something you don't. What? I asked. That mercy is weakness. And weakness gets you killed. You're wrong, I said. Am I? Yes. Mercy is strength. It takes more courage to show kindness than cruelty. Angelo smiled. Then let's test that theory. He raised the gun. Pointed it at Vincent. I'm going to give you a choice, Miss Bennett. You can walk out of here right now. Alive. Free. I'll even give you money. Enough to start over anywhere you want. Or, he looked at Vincent. You can watch me put a bullet in his head. No, Vincent said. Don't do this. It's her choice, not yours. Angelo turned back to me. What's it going to be, Miss Bennett? Your life or his? Time slowed. I looked at Vincent. He was shaking his head. Tears in his eyes. Claire, please. Just go. I looked at Angelo. If I leave, do you promise to let him live? Claire, no. Angelo smiled. You have my word. And your word means something? In my world, it's everything. I took a deep breath. Then I have a counteroffer. Angelo raised an eyebrow. What kind of counteroffer? Me for him. You let Vincent go. And I stay. No. Vincent shouted. Claire, don't. But I wasn't looking at him. I was looking at Angelo. You want to punish Vincent, I said. Fine. Punish him by taking away the one thing he cares about. Me. He'll spend the rest of his life knowing he failed to protect me. Isn't that worse than death? Angelo considered this. Then he lowered the gun. You're smarter than you look. Is that a yes? He looked at Vincent. Then at me. Deal. Before anyone could move, the door burst open. Federal agents flooded the room. Guns drawn. FBI. Drop your weapons. Angelo spun around. Fired. The agents fired back. Chaos erupted. Gunfire. Shouting. Bodies dropping. I hit the ground. Covered my head. Vincent ran toward me. Pulled me behind a container. "Are you okay?" he asked. "I'm fine." More gunfire. Glass shattering. Men screaming. Then silence. I looked up. Angelo was on the ground. Dead. His men were either dead or handcuffed. Detective Morgan walked over to us. "You two okay?" Vincent nodded. Still holding me. "How did you find us?" I asked. "We've been tracking Angelo for weeks. When we heard about the meeting, we moved in." "So it's over?" Morgan looked at Vincent. "Not yet. But it's close." Vincent was taken back into custody. But this time it was different. The district attorney offered him a new deal. In exchange for testifying against the remaining Lombardi family members, Vincent would serve 3 years. Not 5. Not 25. 3 years. With good behavior, he could be out in 2. "I'll take it," Vincent said. The trial was fast. Vincent testified. Gave names. Dates. Locations. The Lombardi Empire collapsed in 6 weeks. And Vincent was sentenced. 3 years in a minimum security federal prison. The first year was the hardest. I visited Vincent every month. Talked to him on the phone every week. We wrote letters. Hundreds of letters. He told me about his days. The books he was reading. The people he met. I told him about my life. Work. Friends. The apartment. But mostly we talked about the future. About what we'd do when he got out. Where we'd go. What we'd build. "I want to leave the city," Vincent wrote in one letter. "I want to go somewhere quiet. Somewhere peaceful. Somewhere we can just exist." "Me too," I wrote back. The second year was easier. Vincent was moved to a different facility. Closer to the city. I could visit more often. We'd sit across from each other. Separated by glass. But it felt less distant than before. Because we knew it was temporary. We knew there was an end in sight. "One more year," he said during one visit. "One more year," I repeated. He smiled. "What's the first thing you want to do when you get out?" I thought about it. "I want to go to the rooftop. Our rooftop. And watch the sunset. That's it. That's everything." He pressed his hand against the glass. I pressed mine against his. "I can't wait," he said. "Me neither." Vincent was released on a Tuesday morning. I was there, waiting outside the prison gates. I saw him before he saw me. He walked through the doors, carrying a single bag, wearing the same clothes he'd worn the day he was arrested. He looked different, older, tired, but free. Then he saw me, and he ran. I ran too. We met in the middle, crashed into each other. He picked me up, spun me around, held me so tight I could barely breathe. "You're real," he whispered. "You're here. I'm here." He set me down, cupped my face, and kissed me. It wasn't soft. It wasn't gentle. It was desperate, hungry, like he'd been drowning, and I was air. When we finally pulled apart, we were both crying. "I missed you," he said. "I missed you too." He rested his forehead against mine. "I'm never leaving you again." "Good, because I'm never letting you go." We went back to the city, to our building, to our rooftop. We climbed the stairs, pushed open the door. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink and gold. Vincent took my hand. We walked to the edge, and we stood there, in silence, watching the city come alive. "It's beautiful," I said. "Yes," Vincent said. But he wasn't looking at the sunset. He was looking at me. I turned to face him. "What?" I asked. He smiled. Then he got down on one knee. My breath caught. "Claire Bennett," he said. "I've spent 3 years thinking about this moment. 3 years imagining what I'd say, how I'd ask. But now that I'm here, I realize words aren't enough." He pulled out a small box, opened it. Inside was a ring. Simple. Beautiful. "I can't promise you a perfect life," he continued. "I can't promise I won't make mistakes. But I can promise you this. I will love you. Every day. For the rest of my life. No matter what." Tears streamed down my face. "Will you marry me?" I dropped to my knees, threw my arms around him. "Yes," I sobbed. "Yes. 1,000 times yes." He slid the ring onto my finger, and we sat there, on the rooftop, holding each other. 2 people who'd been through hell, and found their way back to each other. We left the city 2 months after Vincent proposed, moved to a small town in Vermont, bought a house, A real house with a yard and a porch and a view of the mountains. Vincent got a job, building furniture, working with his hands, creating instead of destroying. I worked at the local hospital, saved lives instead of watching them fall apart. We got married on a Saturday in October. Just us, a judge, and Sophia and Marco as witnesses. It was simple, quiet, perfect. 3 years after Vincent's release, I woke up to find him sitting on the porch, watching the sunrise. I walked out, sat beside him. "Morning," I said. "Morning." I leaned against him. "What are you thinking about?" I asked. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "How different my life would be if you hadn't moved into that apartment." Good different or bad different? He turned to look at me. Good. The best. I smiled. "Do you ever regret it?" I asked. "Everything that happened?" He thought about it. "I regret the pain, the fear, the time we lost. But I don't regret meeting you. I don't regret falling in love. And I don't regret fighting for us." He took my hand. "Because you saved me, Claire. Not from prison. Not from Angelo. You saved me from myself." Tears filled my eyes. "You saved me too," I whispered. He kissed my forehead. And we sat there, in the quiet morning, watching the sun rise over the mountains. Two people who'd found each other in the darkness, and built something beautiful in the light. The end. Do you believe broken people can heal each other? Or do they just share the scars? Drop your answer in the comments below.